all faculty, regional centers across India, and our vast academic family across the world. A very warm welcome to the international launch ceremony of the online certificate programs in Spanish and French. Dear friends, IGNOU has its illustrious history of tracing new paths, of reaching the unreached, fearless in innovation and ready before challenges. When conventional practices said this would never ever be possible in the distance mode, IGNOU rose to the occasion and dared to take the path less traveled. Whether it was reaching out through audio delivery modes, using radio, television, multimedia, internet, ICT, or the digital space, ushering in flexibility in practicing modular course structures, learner-centered approaches, skill enhancement, and learner primacy. IGNOU did it long before the present trend caught on with other institutions, ultimately reflecting strongly in policy documents such as the NE 2020. We are now, in fact, poised at a uniquely privileged crossroads of stepping into a new space, that of online learning, of hybrid models of learning, crisscrossing spaces of physical and the digital. Post-pandemic, as the world grapples with what we call the new normal, we, the IGNOU fraternity, have known this was the path we always followed. Esteemed participants, an extraordinary privileged moment for us today as the university launches the online programs for two of the most in-demand languages of SOL, Spanish and French. I invite now our director, Professor Sunil Kumar, for the formal welcome address and introducing the speaker. Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Dipanvita ji. Sir, with your kind permission, may I start the procedure? I, on the behalf of School of Foreign Languages and on my personal behalf, welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir Professor Nageshwar Rao ji, our distinguished guest, Shri Francis Paradis ji, Dr. Oscar Pujol ji, Pro Vice Chancellors, Professor Satyakam ji, Professor Madam Sumitra Kukreti ji, Professor Ma'am Uma Kanjilal ji, Director, School of Studies and faculty members, heads of centers, units and divisions, registrar, regional directors of all regional centers, officers of the university, and entire IGNOU family on this auspicious occasion of international launch of certificate programs in French and Spanish language through virtual mode. It is indeed a proud moment for university and for the School of Foreign Languages as well, that the School of Foreign Languages is coming out with two certificates programs in Spanish and French languages through virtual mode. However, both the programs are on offer in open and distance learning mode since 2011. In addition to this, School of Foreign Languages offers the following programs: certificate programs in Arabic, and Russian, both in open and distance learning and virtual mode. Certificate in Japanese language, Korean language, Persian language, then diploma in German language, and school is also offering MOOCs in Arabic, French, Mandarin, Russian, and Spanish languages through SWAM platform. 2 courses, each in French and Spanish, under the CBCS for skill enhancement at BDP level are also on offer. Then the PhD program in French and Spanish languages. I would also like to appreciate the efforts of my faculty members at SOFL for proposing 4 master's degree programs in Arabic, Russian, French, and Spanish languages. All the formalities in order to offer these programs from July 2022, January 2023, and July 2023, respectively. I congratulate my faculty members for achieving such an uphill task, as these programs are being designed and developed by the faculty member single-handedly. This all has become possible only under the able guidance of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir Professor Nageshwar Raoji, and with due support of our Vice Chancellors. I now request my colleague, Dr. Dipanvita Srivastava for proceeding further.
Thank you, sir, for the welcome address and the detailed elaboration regarding all activities of the school, its vision and programs and work. I request now my dear colleague, Mr. Vikas Singh, to present a brief note on the program in Spanish language.
Respected Vice Chancellor, sir, respected Pro-Vice Chancellors, our distinguished guests, and all those of you who have joined us through YouTube and Facebook Live. As Director School of Foreign Languages have just mentioned, that the School of Foreign Languages has been successfully offering the Spanish language courses through open and distance learning. Now today, with this online program in Spanish language and culture, we hope that learners across globe with no prior knowledge of Spanish and are interested in learning Spanish as a foreign language and desire to receive cultural information about the Spanish-speaking countries will join this online program in Spanish at IGNOU. This online Spanish program will help learners discover one of the world's most widely spoken languages, the fascinating cultures and peoples of the Spanish-speaking world. Learners who are interested to read the literature of Spanish-speaking world in original, or those who are interested in visiting Spain or traveling to Central or South America and are fascinated by the language, the people, and their cultures, then this online Spanish program offered by IGNOU is the right choice. Knowing Spanish will also open up doors to many potential job opportunities. El Español, that is Spanish, is spoken over a huge geographical area. Historically speaking, Spanish originated in the Iberian Peninsula as a dialect of spoken Latin, which is today called Vulgar Latin, as opposed to the classical Latin used in literature. The dialect of Spanish that we consider dominant in Europe is called Castellano or Castilian Spanish. Castilian underwent much diversification as it came to be used with the Spanish colonization of the Americas. And due to this diversification with its diatopic variation, we observe that there are significant differences between Peninsular Spanish and the Spanish of Latin America. This online program will introduce learners to some of the many varieties of Spanish. The curriculum of this online program has been designed in alignment with the Plan Curricular Benito Cervantes and is based on the principles set by the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages formulated by the Council of Europe. We expect that those of you who are going to enroll in this online certificate in Spanish language and culture program will achieve the A1 and A2.1 level of communicative competence. This online Spanish language program is oriented towards conversational Spanish, starting with Spanish basics. This online program will allow learners to communicate effectively in situations related to daily life and of immediate needs. It will also provide learners with cultural information about the Spanish-speaking countries. Learners will be able to develop all the 4 language skills, that is reading, comprehension, writing, listening comprehension, and speaking. Learners will find a wide range of activities to develop the linguistic skills, since the necessary linguistic and functional contents are presented and contextualized through video sequences and other written texts, including cultural notes, grammar explanations, and quizzes. Learners will be able to monitor their progress by taking a number of continuous assessments, and at the end of the program, there will be a final term and examination. So learners, aprende español con nosotros, learn Spanish with us. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Now I request my colleague Dipanwita ji to give a brief introduction about the online certificate in French language. Over to you, Dr. Dipanwita.
Thank you, Vikas ji, for that introduction on Spanish language. I present now a little brief on the French certificate program that's going to see its online launch this afternoon. Dear friends, with the inception of the School of Foreign Languages way back in 2007, French was one of the selected few to have been chosen for course development way back in 2011. The first course in French certificate language for beginners was launched in the open and distance learning mode. And this, dear friends, was accompanied with printed SLMs, contact classes at the regional centers, some audio-visual support, and 0 precedents in the country. This model continues to function today. However, looking at the popularity of the French language among our learners and the exigencies of the post-pandemic situation, CFL has reorganized its curriculum, taken a near rebirth and say a digital transformation of sorts that could expand the learner base, smoothen out rough edges related to communication and delivery, and find its way into a space of what we refer to as learner without borders, or as we say in French, l'apprenant sans frontières. The certificate in French program is simple in structure with 4 independent courses developed around basic language learning, simple words and phrases, presenting oneself to others, talking about family, residences, and friends, discussing festivals, monuments, cities, and towns, and dialogues in everyday life and situations. In other words, these are built around simple communicative competencies one would need, and roughly matching up to the A2 level defined in the CEFR. I must include that care has been taken to integrate the 4 essential competencies of reading, writing, listening, and speaking as outlined in the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages by the Council of Europe. At the same time, we kept in mind also the unique profile and learner needs of Indian students. I must reiterate at this point that in the content of it, we have ensured a distinct emphasis on the Francophone world to introduce our learners to many countries and cultures, enriching the French-speaking space, as we call it. The Francophonie, comprising of nearly 30 countries apart from France across the globe, where the language is spoken and used either as a mother tongue, a second language, or an official language. The online program is slated to be equipped with e-content, video lectures, essential multimedia, and accompanying resources learners can access on the web. The teacher-learner interaction shall be through synchronous as well as asynchronous models, online lectures in real time, and some contact classes, if need be, in person at regional centers of our university across the country. Programs in the French language have throughout shown huge popularity with our learner groups, and throughout had heartening student response and gratifying enrollments across sections. In the online version, we will hope to take this trend to higher levels and offer skill-based language learning, optimizing technology use, and promote networking among a larger learner group, all in tune with the proposals brought out in the policy document of the NEP 2020. As a mega world university with skills in foreign languages, we envision simultaneous global outreach and enhanced interaction among teachers, learners, institutions, and all significant stakeholders of the. Dear friends, School of Foreign Languages has been exceptionally fortunate in receiving constant guidance, motivation, and mentorship of the authorities. Among them, a special force who's guided us and motivated us continuously is our esteemed Vice Chancellor, Professor Sumitra Preeti. Herself a distinguished literary presence, a woman of letters, we have admired her firmness as well as methodicity at every step. Our immense privilege to invite now Professor Preeti, Vice Chancellor, to grace the occasion with her address. Madam.
Thank you, Dr. Deepankita. Honorable Vice Chancellor, IGNOU, Professor Nageshwar Rao ji, distinguished guests, Mr. Francis Parelli, Quebec Government Office in Canada, and Dr. Oscar Puzel, Director, Embassy of Spain in India, my fellow Vice Chancellors, Professor Satyakam, Professor Uma Kanjila, Director, SOFL, Professor S.K. Gupta, and other directors from different schools who have joined virtually. Good evening to all. We have gathered together on this occasion because today SOFL is going to launch certificate in Spanish and certificate in French program in online mode. At the outset, I would like to acknowledge this initiative by School of Foreign Languages. Austrian philosopher Ludwig wrote once that the limits of your language are the limits of your world, and he was right. Multilingualism, particularly proficiency in foreign languages, opens myriads of opportunities for learners, encourages students to learn, understand, and imbibe the culture and traditions of a foreign country. As we all know fairly well, that the world has turned into a global village. India is one of the most emerging markets, and with each passing year, some new multinationals are establishing and expanding their business in India. Every year, thousands of Indian students migrate to foreign soil in search of better job prospects or advanced studies. The certificate program in French and Spanish offered through online mode will definitely boost opportunities for them. Spanish is one of the 6 official languages of the United Nations, and it is also used as an official language by the European Union. As the program coordinators have just now explained that both these languages are in high demand. French is an official language in 29 countries across multiple continents. French is also the second most taught foreign language in entire European Union. Foreign language programs are in great demand in India, but due to certain reasons, there are very limited number of universities which are offering these programs at present. At present, the SOFL offers different programs in German, Spanish, Japanese, Russian, French, and Arabic, etc. in ODL mode. The online version shall be using digital tool for content creation, dissemination, and enhancing outreach, fulfilling the mandate of IGNOU to reach the unreached, and the mission of the Government of India to digitalize education. I believe that the certificate in French and Spanish online have immense potential to attract students. These programs will take the school to the next level, to the places where they have not yet emphasized. Program coordinators, Dr. Vikash Singh and Dr. Deepanvita Srivastav deserve appreciation and accolade for this initiative. They are the ones who have plunged into this task of repackaging the study material, preparing videos, etc., to mold it in the shape required for online programs. I appreciate their dedication and devotion to the cause. After all said and done, the real motivating spirit behind all this endeavor is our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Nageshwar Raoji, who has been consistently encouraging the schools to introduce online programs. Without his vision, sense of involvement, and passion, it would not have been possible. Once again, I congratulate Professor S.K. Gupta, Director to the school. Thank you. Over to you, Deepanvita.
Thank you very much, Professor Putri, for your inspiring words. Thank you for all the support and vision you lent to us. We have the pleasure of having with us our Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Satyakam, requesting you, sir, to praise the occasion, please.
Thank you, Dr. Deepanvita. Respected Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Nageshwar Raoji, and my fellow colleagues, and the distinguished guests. It is my pleasure to be here in this launching ceremony of certificate in Spanish and French online, and I congratulate the school and all the faculty members. Teaching and learning the language is very difficult, very challenging, and through ODL and then through online, it is more and more challenging. And our friends in the SOFL has taken this challenge because teaching foreign language or teaching the second language other than the mother tongue and mother language is very difficult, because for a learner, because they are acquainted with their languages, and again acquainting with the other languages is a very difficult. And these two languages, Spanish and French, which are very enriched languages in the sense of cultural activities and in the sense, in the respect of the great literature they have and the great culture they have. So our university is launching the certificate in Spanish and French. This is a new height for the university because teaching, as I have already said, that teaching languages is a challenge for a teacher also and for the learners also. So as a university and as a department, as a school, we are taking this challenge, and as we got success in teaching this language in Spanish and French on online also, we will succeed. and we will do what other universities and institutions could not do. So again, I extend my gratitude and congratulations to all the faculty members who have done a wonderful job. Thank you very much.
A profound thanks to Professor Satyakam for those inspiring words. We have the privilege of having with us as well Professor Rula Kanjilal, a well-known name in the field of education technology and digital models. She's here with us, and I kindly request her to praise the occasion with her address, please.
Thank you, Dr. Dipanita, Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, distinguished guests, Francis Paradis and Dr. Oscar Pudo, my fellow Pro-Vice Chancellors, Professor Satyakamji and Professor Sumitra Kukreti, Director, School of Foreign Languages, and colleagues from the School of Foreign Languages, and all my colleagues here. Good evening to all of you. I think it's I think very exciting to see that we have been expecting this French and Spanish programs to be offered on online mode for quite some time. And as already the program coordinators have mentioned, that these are very popular programs across the globe. And I think there's going to be a huge demand for the online programs. In fact, about Spanish, I would like to say, we earlier experimented also with the Spanish language, and it was a big success. We experimented to a great extent, though we had to discontinue. It was then again, we are reviving this, and this is going to be a great advantage, in fact. When we talk about online programs, I think what we talk about is the complete experience is going to be online, right from registration to certification. All activities are to be conducted in online mode. And the challenge that we have for the languages is the kind of interactivity that we build in, and how do we develop the content. And already, as Dr. Dipanita mentioned, that for this, we go in for a co-coordinate approach, where apart from the reading material, we have a lot of, multimedia content that has to be put in. I think when we talk about languages, just giving lectures or talking heads is not going to be enough. I think we need to think in terms of a lot of multimedia content with animation, simulations, and whatnot we can build in. Another important aspect is the practicality of it. In fact, when we are teaching language, I think we need to also talk about language labs. And in fact, we have been deliberating about the language labs. Let us see, can we build up a virtual language labs for both the programs? Already, in fact, the school has been offering 2 other languages, the Russian and the Arabic, which are very popular. And I think it's a high time that from the school, we plan also to develop language labs for all the languages, because that's going to add value to these programs. This is very important that we should look into. We have this, many of the courses are already available on the SWAYAM portal, and they're very popular also. And I think with the complete online program on offer, I think it's going to be a huge success. So in fact, already we have 32 programs on offer in online mode. And with these 2 programs coming in, we add to that, and we have now 34 programs on board for online offer. So I congratulate the entire team of School of Foreign Languages, and I wish them all the best and success of these programs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Kanjilal. We always look up to you for all advice and guidance in education technology and using whatever digital modes. We have to learn a lot from you. Thank you so much. May I now kindly request Honorable Vice Chancellor, PVCs, distinguished guests, to go in finally for formal launch of the program today. informal video for the launch, please.
Again, it is a proud moment for the School of Foreign Languages that one of our faculty member, Dr. Dipanvita Srivastava, has authored a book titled Reflection on Pedagogical Practices of French as a Foreign Language in India, a new perspective. The book basically emphasized on the pedagogical practices for the French as a foreign language and critical comparison between the ideal and the conventional models followed in the universities. With an elaborate preface written by Professor Michael Kelly, Professor Emeritus of French at the University of Southampton, UK, and a well-known scholar globally, the book introduces the concept of the third place built around notion of digital virtual spaces, connected learning, and learner autonomy. The work brings out the spirit of alternative didactic practices that lie at the core of contemporary language learning and promises to be a value addition to all French language teachers and practitioners in the Indian context. I, on the behalf of SOFL and on my personal behalf, congratulate Dr. Dipanvita Srivastava for such a remarkable achievement. And I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, and Pro Vice Chancellors to release the book. Copy of the book to you.
Wonderful, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Vice Chancellor authorities, Vice Chancellor. Your colleagues here also fascinating knowing the book is, of course, in French, so sadly, apart from me, no one understands here. The book is about alternative didactic methods practice. And thank you, IGNOU, for having trained me over the years to look elsewhere, to look differently. And I hope I can contribute slightly to the domain I practice in. Thank you very much. Thank you. Taking the program ahead. Dear friends, teaching learning of foreign languages has a very unique side to it. Although it is the learner around which the methodology is evolved, the objective, the final objective, is about learning a language which is often external to the learner's own context. It is about interactions involving factors beyond simple nouns, pronouns, vocabulary, or grammar, fundamentally a space of interculturality and of encounters between two cultures. Honoring this coming together of cultures and languages, we are delighted to have with us this afternoon two very distinguished guests from the world of Spanish and French languages, Monsieur Francis Paradis and Dr. Oscar Pujoulin. We are taking extremely privileged having them amongst us. I'm honored to invite now our first speaker, Monsieur Francis Paradis, Director and Counsel of the Quebec Government Office in Mumbai. Mr. Paradis has been the Director of the Quebec Government Office in Mumbai since September 2019, having nearly 15 years of experience in the Quebec Public Service. Previous to his current position, he held the office of the Assistant Deputy Minister for Business Partnerships at the Ministère du Tourisme since June 2018. From 2016 to 18, he remained Chief of the Quebec Office to the Atlantic Provinces at the Ministère du Conseil Exécutif, and from 2011 to 2016, he was Director of Aboriginal Services and Nordic Development at the Ministère de l'Éducation, de l'Enseignement supérieur et de la Recherche. M. Paradis holds a bachelor's degree in psychology from Université du Québec at Trois-Rivières, as well as 3 master's degrees in business administration from Université du Québec at Chicoutimi, in public administration from École nationale d'administration publique, and in human mathematics from Université Laval. Apart from this, he is also a professional in corporate governance from the Université Laval. Monsieur, la parole est à vous.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Namaste, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here with you today, and thank you very much for this wonderful event. Apse milka kushihoda hihe. Quebec vasion ard baration me saman gagahe. Apne basha ke prati bahatlem. Apko jitni hindi pyari lagdi hai. Unni hi apni French basha pyara hai. Pyari hai, sorry. I had the chance to meet Professor Nageshwar Rao, Vice-Chancellor, and Dr. Dipawita Srivastava, Assistant Professor of French, School of Foreign Languages, Indira Gandhi National Open University in 2020 at the convocation ceremony. And it seems to have taken place just yesterday. However, it was 2 years ago. During these 2 years, the world changed by leaps and bounds. New ways of functioning were discovered. The online mode is now an everyday way of working. A little extension of this is the open and distance learning. Today, I'm really happy to be with you virtually to celebrate the launch of the first ever Masters in Arts and French coming out in open and distance learning. These distance learning courses are gaining more importance now, and the pandemic has shown us how well they can function. Talking of French and Francophone studies, since the time I took over as director of the Quebec Government Office in Mumbai in 2019, it is heartening to see how popular French language is in India. French is being taught here since 1730. Schools, colleges, universities, and Alliance Française are different types of entities involved in popularizing French in India. It is this language that binds Quebec to India too. Quebec, as you know, is the French-speaking part of the Canada. The promotion of the French language is an essential element for Quebec's political, economical, social, and cultural prosperity. Rooted in history, but essentially turned towards the future, the Quebec policy on the Canadian Francophonie is an indication that Quebec intends to play a significant role within the Canadian Francophonie, and in a recognition of the fact that the Francophone and Acadian communities, as well as Francophone immigrants and Francophiles, are extremely important interlocutors and actors for the protection and promotion of the French fact in the three Americas. As you may know, 34 millions of French speakers are in the three Americas. Quebec envisages several concrete actions under the new policy. The key sectors of culture and communications, education, economical development, and health will continue to be the object of priority interventions. In fact, very soon we shall be celebrating the Francophonie Month, which is March. Every year, our office screens 4 to 6 Quebec films through the Alliance Française network in India. We also like to showcase some unique aspect of our culture to the Indian audience. Last year, we organized a virtual session of ballads from Quebec and Maharashtra, where singers from both sides sang songs dedicated to the persons who established their provinces, major political heroes and women leaders. This year, we propose to do 2 shows of poetry in Quebec and India. Do stay tuned into our social media for the updates. As you can understand, for our office, it is essential to work at different levels to encourage Francophonie. Our objective is to support all types of activities to promote French language. We have strong ties with the French of various universities. We also work closely with the Alliance Française network via the French Institute. Most importantly, we have started working with the Prayatna Education Society based in Delhi to organize programs for school students and teachers. Thus, the Francophonie reaches the very initial level of French learning in India. In fact, in New Delhi, when I visited the Shastri Indo-Canadian Institute, I came across books on Quebec, my land, and found it fascinating. It is especially comforting to see the efforts that are being taken to develop the Francophone studies too, but on Quebec, Mauritius, Africa, and more than 70 countries members of the OEF, International Organization of Francophonie. In fact, such effort helps students to understand different civilizations and cultures via language. IGNOU has been promoting learner-centered pedagogies, which is certainly in sync with the NEP 2020. The present program, in its online mode, shall enhance the outreach and the online and hybrid models to the next level. I also understand that efforts are being made to make courses skill-oriented. I take this opportunity to talk to you about our long tradition of distance learning. Back in Quebec, Université Téluc is a French public language distance learning university founded in 1972. It was commissioned to develop distance education courses. It offers hundreds of programs at all levels of study, from bachelor's degrees to master's and doctorate program. Programs are offered by 4 departments: School and Administrative Sciences, Department of Education, Department of Science and Technology, and Department of Humanities, Language, and Communication. It offers an open access repository where the public can access the research works it's produced. Every year, around 20,000 students study at this university. It would be very interesting to consider a collaboration program in resource creation and academic exchange between Quebec University and IGNOU. Also, what excites me today is the publication of Mrs. Dipanwita Srivatava book, Réflexions sur les parcours pédagogiques du FLE en Inde, un autre regard. C'est essentiel d'enseigner, mais il est important de faire savoir aux autres votre excellent travail. Je suis sûr que plusieurs enseignants du FLE bénéficieront de cet ouvrage magnifique. Les nouvelles pratiques de l'utilisation des technologies numériques enrichissent de nouvelles pédagogies, suivies dans des universités comme l'IGNOU et promettent d'apporter des changements significatifs dans l'enseignement et l'apprentissage du français. Félicitations pour votre belle initiative. I conclude by congratulating Dr. Srivatava for publishing her book and Professor Nageshwar Rao, Vice-Chancellor, for launching the online French courses. So thank you very much. Merci beaucoup and dhanyavad.
Grand merci, Monsieur Paragou, pour le gentil mot d'encouragement et de motivation. Merci beaucoup. It is a great moment for me, for Estrapol, and for the university today. And it feels good to hear from you about Université de Toulouse in Quebec. And we have luckily been already in talks with the university. Madam Kanjilal and Professor Satikam were also there with us. And we have initiated talks with Toulouse for some post-development. And hopefully we should be able to collaborate more with the Quebec government in the years to come. Thank you so much for your presence today. The next address, dear friends, today is coming our way from Dr. Oscar Pujol. Dr. Pujol is one of the renowned Spanish scholars and Catalan Indologist. He studied Sanskrit, BA and MA at the Banaras Hindu University, where he took his PhD with the addition of Samarthapada of the Tantra Pradip, a manuscript on Sanskrit grammar. He's published several books and translations from Sanskrit among them. Translations from the Upanishads, Hymn to the Earth, The Love Thief, Savitri, Kavya Purushottapati of Rajshekhar, Yoga Sutra of Patanjali, Rasa, Aesthetic Pleasure in Indian Aesthetics, From the Ganges to the Mediterranean, and two monographs, one on Shankara and another on Patanjali. He has more than 100 published articles and reviews. He's published as well a Sanskrit Catalan dictionary and the Sanskrit Spanish dictionary of 64,000 words that, for the first time, includes the etymologies of contemporary philology and those of Indian grammarians. In 2002, he helped in establishing Pazaishia Barcelona as Director of Educational Programs, introducing the teaching of Asian languages, promoting the creation of Asian degrees at Spanish universities, and fostering Indo-Spanish relations. He founded in 2007 the Instituto Cervantes of New Delhi, a cultural center funded by the government of Spain for promoting Spanish language, in addition to fostering knowledge of cultures of Spanish-speaking countries throughout the world. He has also directed the Instituto Cervantes of Porto Alegre and Fez. Presently, once again, he is at Delhi as director of the Instituto Cervantes here. Formidable biography indeed. We feel profoundly privileged to have you graced this special occasion today on discipline of Spanish as well as Israel. So the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. हमारा भी आप सबको हमारा हार्दिक नमस्कार. मुझे भी बहुत प्रसन्नता हो रही है कि इस अवसर पर तो बोलने का मौका दिया है. अभी तो अनुमति दे दीजिए, मैं आगे तो अंग्रेजी में मैं बात करूंगा. I would like to thank, first of all, the BC of IGNOU, Professor Nageshwar Rao, the Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Sumitra Kukariti, the Director of the School of Foreign Language, Professor Sunil Kumar Gupta, and of course, the Assistant Professor Vikash Kumar Singh, and my greetings to Assistant Professor Dr. Dipanvita Srivastava. Mes salutations aussi à Monsieur Fancy Paradis, Directeur and Consul de Quebec Government Office in Mumbai. As I said, it's a great pleasure to be here today on this occasion, and I would like to underline later the incredible work that IGNOU is doing in promoting Spanish language, literature, and culture courses across India and overseas through IGNOU's wide network centers. In this regard, it's worth mentioning the extraordinary task of the Assistant Professor Vikash Kumar Singh. He is a good friend of Instituto Cervantes, and his command of Spanish is impressive. He's not only responsible for the supervision of all aspects of the Spanish language courses at IGNOU, but he's also the author of 2 extraordinary books of Spanish self-learning for Indian students, Basics of Spanish Language and Culture, which will go in a long way in disseminating the Spanish language in remote areas of India, where students have no access to the study of Spanish, thus democratizing in a true way the spread of knowledge. So Spanish at IGNOU is in a very good hands. And we are very proud to know that Mr. Vikash Kumar specialized in Spanish as a foreign language methodology and computer-assisted language at the Centro de Formación de Profesores of the Instituto Cervantes in Spain. But let me first dwell a little bit on today's importance of the Spanish language, has been already said by different speakers. In 2020, about 49 crores of people had Spanish as their mother tongue, and an overall of 59 crores of speakers. Spanish is the official language in 21 countries. Spanish is the second mother tongue in the world by number of native speakers, only after Mandarin Chinese, and the 4th language in a global tally of speakers after English, Mandarin Chinese, and Hindi. More than 40 million people speak Spanish in the United States, being the 5th in the world in terms of native speakers, after Mexico, Colombia, Spain, and Argentina. Almost 20% of the US population will be of Hispanic origin, is of Hispanic origin right now. And it is not long when the USA will overtake Spain in number of Spanish speakers. The world Spanish speakers have a combined purchasing power of around 9% of the world GDP. If the Hispanic community in the United States were an independent country, its economy would be the 8th largest in the world, only after the United States, China, Japan, Germany, India, the United Kingdom, and France. Spanish occupies the 3rd position in the classification of language according to its contribution to the world GDP, only after Chinese and English. In the internet, Spanish is the 3rd most used language, only after English and Chinese, and almost 8% of internet users communicate in Spanish. In most digital platforms such as Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Wikipedia, Spanish is the 2nd most used language today. In India, Spanish has gone from being almost an unknown language to a preferred one. It's the 3rd most studied foreign language behind French and German. One interesting thing is the Instituto Cervantes in New Delhi, of which I am the director, is the institute of the whole Instituto Cervantes in the world that has the highest number of students in the world, which is a big achievement. And the Instituto Cervantes is it has about 80 centers in 42 countries all over the world. But India has the biggest number of students. According to the study by India Today, Spanish is the third language whose knowledge provides better salaries in India, behind Chinese and French. In recent years, the study of Spanish has shown a great growth in its modality as L, or Spanish as a foreign language. And Hispanic studies too are in good health and running now in the third generation. One thing that pleasantly surprised me upon my return to India after 2 years ago, after being 7 years away from this wonderful country, is the growth of Spanish in school education, especially in private schools that have an international curriculum, or in Indian private schools that follow a national curriculum. Now, many private schools offer Spanish. And 12 years ago, when we opened the Cervantes, Spanish was hardly taught in school. Even such a popular series in Hindi as Patal Lok show in its first episode a Spanish class in a school. This would be unthinkable only a few decades ago, when Spanish was hardly present. Now Spanish is one of the best options as a foreign language in a private Indian school. Unfortunately, however, it is still practically absent from public school education. And here IGNOU is filling the gap with its online courses that can reach all sectors of Indian society. Spanish has a great potential in India. Its presence in the United States is an incentive for the population to learn, as the USS is the professional mecca for young Indians. The growth in relations, both commercial and cultural, between India and Latin America is another guarantee of the survival of Spanish in India. Clearly, the main reason for learning Spanish in India is the optimization of professional possibilities. Cultural, intellectual, or personal preferences come only second. As I say, the idea that Spanish is important to live or work in the United States is recurrent in India. Everybody knows English, but if an Indian goes to the United States knowing Spanish, he has a big plus in finding a job and being most useful. By the way, if an Indian speaking Hindi that also knows English learns Spanish, he will be knowing 3 of the most widely spoken language in the world. On the other hand, it must be borne in mind that the Indo-American population in the United States exceeded the 45 lakhs in 2018. It is one of the fastest growing communities with the best income. Aware of the importance of Spanish, these expats very often, when visiting India, encourage the younger members of their family to learn the Spanish language. I would like now to close this small intervention by outlining, the presence of Spanish in IGNOU. I was in touch with IGNOU about 12 years ago when the Spanish was starting, but as I say, now, coming after all this time, I see that the progress is really massive. First of all, I would like to underline the massive online open courses, which use, of course, the basic Spanish language and culture book written by Mr. Vikash Kumar Singh. It's been on offer since this January 2022, and as on date, it has more than 2,000 students already enrolled, while registration ending only in 28th of February. Then you have also in the online mode, the certificate in Spanish language and culture, which are launching with today, and it's really, I'm very proud to be part of it. In program courses offered through open and distance learning mode, you're already offering the certificate in Spanish language and culture, UG level, with 18 credits. And I'm told that in 2020, it has 442 students, and now it has about 465 students. It is also, most important, the elementary Spanish course under the choice-based credit system in the BA programs, which are already being offered now in January 2022. Finally, there is the coming diploma in Spanish language, which we hope we'll be able to have it in July, 2022. And even we are looking forward very much to an MA in Spanish. And IGNOU would join that university in India that are able to offer MA in Spanish, which, as according to your previsions, will be launched from the January 2023 session. Finally, I would like to say that we will be very happy to continue our collaboration with IGNOU and promoting Spanish universities. We will be also very happy to introduce the Diploma of Spanish Language Examination in IGNOU. I think we have them at all levels, and IGNOU students would benefit greatly from this scheme, which is an official recognition of the level of Spanish that is useful in all over the countries in the world. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. मुझे लगता है कि अंग्रेजी की तरह स्पेनिश की तरह हिंदी भी बहुत महान भाषा है, तो हिंदी बढ़ाओ, स्पेनिश बढ़ाओ और फ्रेंच भी बढ़ाओ। नमस्कार।
Thank you, Dr. Pujol, for those extraordinary words of encouragement and motivation to us. It has been an absolute privilege listening, and we know that there still remains lots to learn and invite from you in the future. In fact, with mentors like you, with such fascination and respect for Sanskrit and Hindi, and our faculty here who has done Spanish, the circle seems to be rather complete. Thank you for being here with us today. Thank you, Mr. Paradhi and Dr. Pujol, for having found time today to be with us, the fraternity today. Moving on to the next program. Dear friends, behind our efforts and initiatives and the stupendous growth, institutional dynamism, and consistent progress we've all witnessed over the past few years in university, the role of Honorable Vice-Chancellor Professor Nageshwar Rao stands out in a league of its own. A distinguished academician with an illustrious history of leadership and inspiration as Vice-Chancellor of several other universities in India, he is a stalwart in the field of distance learning and policy development. Undoubtedly, the IGNOU family has benefited greatly under his able leadership. It is my absolute honor and privilege to now invite Honorable Vice-Chancellor IGNOU, Professor Nageshwar Rao, for the presidential address. Sir.
Good evening to all of you. Respected Mr. Francis Paradis, Dr. Oscar Pujol, who are the torch bearers of today's launch program, my own colleagues, and you all. A great moment to all of us, especially the IGNOU family, when we received the blessings of Mr. Francis and Mr. Oscar on this auspicious occasion. They are too near to us. Of course, it is a distance institution, online institution, but we are very close to each other. As has been pointed out by Francis, that only last year we met physically. And in case of Oscar, I do have the association of Banaras Hindu University, where I worked as a faculty for more than 5 years. Of course, it was an old journey, but memorable for me also.
So we are very close to each other, and that sort of blessing is really helpful to our faculty in the School of Foreign Languages. And they're doing a great job. Even when we look at the history of online education in IGNOU, in the present regulatory framework, we find that this school, it has played a dominant role. In January 2020, we got permission to run 3 certificate programs for the first time in the country as a whole. And out of that, 2 are related to the School of Foreign Languages. They created history. A few faculty members and very ambitious targets. And what they're perceiving is that they would like to put this school at the center stage of this university. And I do feel like that at this moment. Earlier, the school was being considered as a discipline or as a school which has to supplement the initiatives of other schools, other main disciplines, and other programs, catering only to a few certificate programs. The school has strengthened themselves, and now they don't look at others. They have become the leaders. They are showing the path to others. Even for this, to online programs, which are very, very popular all over the globe, their perception is that even in our country, through ODL mode, they are not in a position to reach the unreached, because we have to create study centers for that purpose. But in case of online programs, there is no need to have that structure. They can monitor the entire activities from the headquarters itself. And not only in India, but abroad also. Because Indian diaspora is spread in almost all countries of the world. And there we are receiving lots of requests to go for these online programs. And these young people, they grab that opportunity to go for those online programs. When it was being told to me that these 2 disciplines, they are going for a virtual program, an online program, I was surprised to look at their strategic thinking, to look at the basics of this university, that reaching the unreached, reaching to all corners of the country, beyond that also. When it is known to us that French and Spanish, they are the popular languages across the globe. And we are having the rich resources, academic as well as technological. We started thinking about it, and we have moved ahead also. We are also having a system of web-enabled academic support, wherein the faculty itself can monitor these numbers.
when we registered ourselves in the SWAYAM platform, the Ministry of Education, these languages, they could get very high numbers. Our numbers in ODL, they are continuously increasing. But in virtual, the numbers will gallop. The boundaries are unlimited. The reach has become much easier. And when they themselves plan to go for such a venture, it is really credible for them also. You all are blessing my young faculty, and they all are coming forward to meet your expectations. This is the world's largest university in terms of student strength. We are having 35 lakh learners. We are having 36 lakh alumni, a reach of 71 lakhs, wherein we can safely say that around 1 lakh, they will be the learners from other countries. And Indian diaspora, we can find anywhere, at any place. And there are people also here, they want to move. National Education Policy 2020 has laid an emphasis that languages needs to be strengthened. The language has been considered as a skill. Earlier, it was being considered as only a medium of communication, but a skill, an important skill. Indian languages as well as foreign languages. And this school is continuously making efforts to strengthen the knowledge base of foreign languages. They are getting very good support. But in case of ODL programs, if they find even 20 students in Mumbai, they have to set up a study center there. They have to identify a counselor there. And when they find there are only 5 or 6, the learner support services cannot be provided. But in this case, it has become a much easier proposition. No need to go for any study center. Only if they could identify a few counselors spread in India or even outside also, they can teach those subjects. So the world has become one unit for us. The learners also, they have become one unit for us. And that is the advantage. And IGNOU is moving ahead in that direction quickly. Because only 2 years, in the last 2 years, whole world was affected by COVID. But still, we all have worked hard during this period. Never thought of this virus. We worked and we have given the results also. We have gone for a few PG programs, few UG programs, diplomas and certificate programs. And everywhere, we are getting good responses from the learners. Today is one more occasion when we can see the contribution of Deepanvita ji. She thought of writing a book in French. Risky proposition. Because in a country like India, finding the readers in French, and that too for teaching learning process. But she thought about it. She executed that project. And today, the book has come out. It is seeing the light of the day. It is not a small printed magazine, 20 pages, 30 pages. It is a book covering lots of issues. It will be useful for the readers, the students, the researchers, and those who have got interest in French, not only in India, but even abroad also. They can go through that. So I must compliment Deepanvita ji specifically also for that sincere effort. Great day. Your blessings are there. Distinguished guests, they encouraged us, they motivated us, they inspired us, especially the School of Foreign Languages. And I'm really thankful to both of you who could spare your valuable time for us. And my compliment my colleagues in the School of Foreign Languages, including the director who shown the way to the young faculty, Dr. Gupta, and also to our Pro Vice Chancellor. So we see that we all are working like a team. And the results are very, very encouraging. And in this sphere of knowledge, especially when the people are talking about the foreign languages, when the people are talking that the world has become one unit, then we have to understand, we have to speak, we have to read, we have to write, we have to understand the foreign languages also. Great initiative, great effort. I compliment the school for this historic occasion of the launch ceremony of these two certificate programs, certificate in Spanish and certificate in French. Thank you.
Extremely thankful, sir. Immensely gratifying to hear the motivational words. As always, we feel encouraged and deeply inspired by your support and guidance. With sincere hopes to be soon able to come together for launching more programs in many other languages, catering to diverse learner groups at different academic levels, may I now request my colleague, Mr. Vikas Singh, to present the formal vote of thanks.
Respected Vice Chancellor, Professor Nageswar Rao sir, respected Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Sumitra Kukriti Madam, Professor Satyakant sir, Professor Umakanti Lal ma'am, our distinguished guest speakers, Mr. Consul Paradhi, Director and Consul Cable Government Office in Mumbai, Dr. Oscar Pujol, Director of Institute Cervantes in New Delhi, respected Director, School of Foreign Languages, Director of Schools of Studies, Heads of Division, Regional Centers, and all those who have joined us through YouTube Live and Facebook Live. Little remains to be said after the visionary address of our Honorable Vice Chancellor and the enriching address by our distinguished speakers, Mr. Consul Paradhi and Dr. Oscar Pujol. On behalf of the School of Foreign Languages, it is my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks to everyone who has joined us today. I, on behalf of the School of Foreign Languages, and on a personal behalf, first of all wish to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir for his gracious presence and delivering the presidential address. We are immensely thankful to you, sir, for your guidance and leadership to launch the online Spanish and French language programs. A hearty vote of thanks to all the respected Pro Vice Chancellors for the support and guidance, and our profound gratitude to our distinguished guests for taking time out of their busy schedule and gracing the occasion and making it possible to carry out this successful international launch of the certificate programs in Spanish and French. Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful and lucidly articulated views with us. I must also mention our deep sense of appreciation for the Director Center for Online Education for his unending support and assistance of his entire team in organizing this international launch ceremony. I would be failing in my duty if I did not record my sense of gratitude to the Director, School of Foreign Languages, Professor Sunil Gupta, my colleagues in the school, Dr. Salim and Dr. Bhaskar, and the entire IGNOU fraternity. A special thanks to all those who have joined us today through YouTube and Facebook Live. In case I have left anyone out, please forgive me. It is purely an oversight. Words do not go far enough to continue showing gratitude. What we finally need are the encouragement and the academic interaction and the camaraderie among our academic fraternity for the success of an academic endeavor like the present one. Once again, thank you so much. Over to you, Dr.
Thank you, Mrs. Singh. And now with kind permission of Honorable Vice Chancellor, we come to the end of today's program. Thank you all for having joined us on this very special moment for the university as well